Good morning. I hope you're having a good start to your day. All of us are devastated and pained by the images and the news that is coming out of Turkey and Syria, where the earthquakes have killed what is expected to be over 20,000 people. And so many people are buried in the rubble. And even when they get out, have nowhere to go to find shelter, to find food. And Israel's been at the forefront of the rescue mission. Israel started an operation called Operation Olive Branch. And they've sent 15 airlifts already with hundreds of tons, thousands of tons of medical supplies. 150-person rescue team, plus a 230-person team field hospital. And Israel has already rescued tens of lives by pulling people out of the rubble, and this remarkable sense of responsibility to help others and to give of our expertise and of our finance and of our people to make a difference for people in suffering. And Israel didn't hesitate to think if it's our friends or our enemies, both in Turkey and even in Syria, through indirect channels, Israel has been sending help. Because ultimately, when we see devastation, when we see suffering, we have to rise to the occasion. And without thinking who it is and what it is, be there to help those people. In fact, when CNN in the beginning had a list of all those that are sending help, of course, Israel didn't make it to their list. They had all these other countries, but Israel, who's probably one of the most consequential countries in helping and in expertise in what's needed, didn't make it to the list. But we didn't do it for fame. The IDF and the Jewish people are always at the forefront of chesed, of kindness, of doing and acting. You know, it's interesting because in this week's Torah portion, we read about the Ten Commandments. And one of the most famous things that happened in the Ten Commandments is that God asked the Jewish people if they want to accept the Torah. Imagine, they had just been enslaved for 200 plus years. Finally, they become free. And here God gives them another set of rules. And he says, do you want to accept my Torah, a moral code of life of how to live, ethics, morality? And the Jewish people said the two famous words, Naseh v'nishma. We will do, and then we will listen. And the rabbis explained that what the Jewish people said was that before we understand even what, we are going to do the action. And we are going to take the action to do what Hashem wants. And that's been the story of the Jewish people. Many times there comes a situation and the question is, should I do? Let me find out first. But ultimately, when you invest yourself in the situation, and when you do, then naturally you want to do more and you want to understand more. And that's the story of Naseh v'nishma. In fact, in Hebrew, the word ahava means love, right? But the word ahava also means to give. Because ultimately, what does true love mean? Not what you get, but what you give. And the proof is with our children. We're always giving to our children because we know that when we give, when we invest, that's true love. And that's the story of Naseh v'nishma that the Jewish people so eloquently said to God. Sometimes we see something devastating. And the question is, what could we do? And the answer is, the first thing is not to think, but to do. You know, many years ago, I think it was in the 1960s or 70s, two professors in Stanford University did this study. And they got these big, huge front lawn signs that said it was a campaign to get for safe driving. And they asked people in a certain town if they would mind putting these big signs up in their front lawn. And only 17% agreed. No, it's a big step to put a big sign in front of your house. Then they went to another little town next to it, and they asked people to put a little thing in their window that speaks about safe driving. And 93% agreed. It wasn't such a drastic step, it was a small step. And then they came back a week later to the same town where 93% had agreed to put it up. And they asked them to put up the big billboard in their front lawn, the big sign. And over 70% agreed. Because once they were invested, once they had given Naseh then they were open to hearing and doing more. And that's why the ethics of our fathers always tells us that mitzvah goreret mitzvah. Sometimes you think I did a little thing, but does it make a difference? Yes, because each little action leads to another action. When we see pain and suffering in the world, sometimes we don't understand why. We don't know the nishma. We don't understand it, but we know the nasa. We know what we have to do. Take action to alleviate the pain of those suffering. When you saw the video yesterday of the IDF soldier giving ice and drink to a kid who was under the rubble, you think about the devastation. You think about the suffering. And then you think about the IDF that always has to be there to defend itself against terror, was able to be there giving their expertise, giving their professionalism, their heart, their soul, to alleviate the pain of others. That's the story of the Jewish people. Naasav and Nishma. And as we come to temple this Saturday, and we receive the Torah again, let us never forget the words our forefathers and foremothers said. Naasav and Nishma, we will do, and we will do, and we will do more. Have a great day.